What if I told you that you've been visualizing, affirming, and acting as if, but the real reason your life isn't changing is because you're missing the one mindset that actually rewrites your reality? You see, most people talk about manifestation like it's a game of positive thinking. But Florence Shin, one of the original minds behind what we now call the law of attraction, believed in something even deeper. She called it assumption, and she believed it could override your current circumstances faster than anything else. Today, we're going to explore why the law of assumption works faster than manifestation, and how most people unknowingly sabotage their results by chasing symptoms instead of the cause. You'll see why desire alone is not enough, and how the silent power of what you assume deep in your core is already shaping your outcomes, whether you like it or not. Let's begin with a truth most won't tell you. Manifestation starts long before action. It starts with the state you occupy, not the one you wish for, the one you believe you're already living. Florence said, "You can never do a thing you do not believe yourself capable of doing." And that's where the law of assumption becomes a game changer. Because you don't wait to feel worthy, you assume you already are. In this video, I'm going to walk you through the spiritual science of assumption, how to shift your self-concept without forcing or faking it, and most importantly, how to stop contradicting your desires with unconscious fear. We'll go deeper than surface-level affirmations. I'll share how to train your nervous system to align with the version of you who already has what you're asking for. Not someday. Now. So if you've ever felt stuck, like the universe isn't listening, or like your reality is looping no matter how hard you try, don't skip this. The truth may be more empowering than anything you've heard before. Let's unlock the law that's already at work in your life, and finally take control of the script. Here's the truth no one tells you. You don't manifest what you want. You manifest what you believe, and not the belief you write in your journal, not the belief you speak out loud, but the one you hold deep inside, the one that's silent and constant. That's what the law of assumption taps into. It bypasses the fluff. It ignores the vision boards and the fake confidence. And it asks, what do you really assume to be true about yourself? Because that assumption is shaping your life. Not your wish list. Not your Pinterest board. Your identity. So many women say they want love, but they assume they're not worthy of it. They say they want success, but they assume they always fall short. They say they want peace, but they assume chaos is their default. And so the universe doesn't respond to the request. It responds to the frequency. It matches the woman who wakes up in full alignment with her truth, not the one who desperately wants a different life, but keeps assuming she's not the kind of woman who can live it. The law of attraction says, think it, feel it, attract it. But the law of assumption says, be it. Now. That's why it's faster. Because it skips the external effort and roots everything in who you believe you already are. But here's the challenge. Most women have no idea they're living out assumptions that were never theirs. Assumptions passed down from their mothers, their culture, their trauma. Assumptions like, I'm too much. I'm not enough. I'm always behind. I have to prove myself to be loved. And without even realizing it, they wake up every day and live as if those things are facts. But what if they're not? What if your reality isn't fixed? It's just familiar. What if you've been assuming a version of yourself that's not even real, just repeated? This is where your power returns. Not when you get what you want, but when you decide to become the version of you that already has it. Not because it's fake, but because it's chosen. The law of assumption isn't about pretending. It's about stepping fully into a truth that feels foreign, only because you haven't lived it yet. And the moment you do, the world adjusts. So how do you do it? How do you apply the law of assumption without feeling like a fraud? It starts with one simple but radical decision: to stop waiting for proof. Most women want evidence before they change. They want the job before they feel confident. They want the relationship before they feel worthy. They want the applause before they speak up. But the law of assumption flips that logic. It asks you to decide first, to become first, to assume it's already yours, before a single thing outside of you changes. And that's uncomfortable. That's the work. You don't need to fake it. But you do need to train your nervous system to feel safe in a new identity. So here's how you begin. You ask yourself, if I already had the life I want, how would I walk today? How would I respond? How would I speak to myself? What would I no longer tolerate? And then you act like her. You start moving through the world like the woman who already knows her worth. Not because she's perfect, but because she no longer assumes she's broken. You wake up and instead of saying, I hope something good happens today, you say, I expect something aligned to find me today, because I'm already aligned. You set boundaries, not because you're mean, but because the woman you're becoming no longer needs to beg for space. You speak kindly to yourself, not as a self-love ritual, but because it's simply what she does. Because when you assume your worth, you stop performing for approval. You stop explaining your value. You stop shrinking to make others comfortable. You become unshakable, not by force, but by frequency. This isn't about pretending to be someone you're not. It's about finally giving yourself permission to be who you already are, beneath the layers of fear and conditioning. Your identity doesn't have to be built on survival anymore. It can be built on vision, on faith, on full, unapologetic assumption. So today, I'm not asking you to manifest your dream life. I'm asking you to assume it, to carry yourself like the version of you who already has it, because she lives inside you now, waiting, quiet, ready. The question is, will you let her lead? Let's be honest. Becoming the version of you who already has what she wants doesn't always feel magical. It's not a Pinterest board. It's not a perfect morning routine. And it's definitely not about pretending. It's a choice, a decision to align again and again when the old self tries to creep back in. The law of assumption isn't about a single moment of clarity. It's about discipline. Not the kind the world rewards, but the kind you practice in silence. It's waking up and deciding, I don't wait to feel worthy today. I already am. Even when nothing outside of you has changed, it's choosing to act like the woman who is clear, who is stable, who is powerful, even when the evidence hasn't caught up yet. You don't reinforce this identity with words alone. You reinforce it with behavior. Every time you hold a boundary, you say, this is who I am now. Every time you breathe through discomfort instead of running from it, you say, I'm not afraid of becoming her anymore. This is the work. Quiet, repetitive, internal. But it's also sacred because you're not waiting to be chosen. You're choosing yourself. Not just once, but every time the old version calls. Most women don't need more affirmations. They need more alignment. They don't need to beg the universe. They need to believe themselves. And that belief, when lived daily, creates a force so powerful that the world can't help but respond. Assumption isn't a performance. It's a frequency. And when you embody it with consistency, you stop hoping. You start becoming. So many women are exhausted, not because they're weak, but because they've spent years chasing things they were meant to attract, begging the universe, obsessing over results, clinging to outcomes like their worth depended on it. But the woman who lives by assumption, she doesn't beg. She doesn't cling. She doesn't chase. She aligns because she knows what is meant for her doesn't arrive through force. It arrives through frequency. She doesn't wake up asking, how do I get more? She asks, how can I stay in the energy of already having it? There's a difference between trying to manifest and living as the woman who already has. The first is exhausting. The second is powerful. Because when you chase something, you affirm that you don't have it. You affirm distance, lack, separation. But when you assume it's already yours, your energy says, I am no longer seeking. I am remembering. And that shift from grasping to grounding is what changes everything. Your job is not to convince the universe. Your job is to stabilize your frequency, to hold your energy, to stay committed to the identity you've chosen, even when your mind offers the old story. You're not waiting anymore. You're leading. You're anchoring. And from that place, the things you once ran after begin to flow toward you. Not because you worked harder, but because you stopped doubting. You stopped hesitating. You stopped diluting your energy with fear. You chose assumption, and assumption chose you back. Because assumption isn't a one-day decision. It's a way of life. It's not about always feeling confident. It's about always returning to the truth. You are already worthy. You are already powerful. You are already aligned. You don't have to wait for the evidence. You get to be the evidence. You don't have to manifest by force. You manifest by frequency. And every time you slip into the old version, you get to come back. Without shame, without judgment, with full authority. Because becoming her is not about perfection. It's about commitment. It's about anchoring into a new identity until it becomes natural, effortless, undeniable. You were not born to beg. You were not born to chase. You were born to choose, to align, to lead. And when you do, life bends in your direction. So today, let the old version rest. Let the doubt dissolve. Let the fear fall quiet. You don't need more proof. You need more trust. Assume it. Anchor it. Live it. And watch what happens next. If this message spoke to something deep inside you, don't stop here. There's more waiting for you on this path. Watch the next video in this journey. And let your power rise with every step. And if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel so you never forget who you truly are. This is Florence Manifest, and your next level has already begun.